Hi guys, it's Omer from MMOs.com, and I'm doing another quick weekly news recap for all major MMO news and announcements for the week ending September 12th, 2016. This is episode number 60 of the recap, and the first bit of news this week comes from Blizzard regarding World of Warcraft. Legion has been out for a bit over a week now, and despite still not releasing subscription numbers, Blizzard was eager to push out some sales data to show exactly how well Legion is doing. And with that, Legion sold a whopping 3.3 million copies on day one, which matched day one sales of Warlords of Draenor and Cataclysm. The more interesting data point though is that the game's launch week peak concurrent users was the highest since Cataclysm launched back in 2010. And basically everyone who said that WoW was dead still continues to be wrong, and the numbers keep proving it. We'll see though if the expansion hype continues well past the early launch. Next up, also data related, we have a chart from Superdata Research which shows that 6 of the top 10 grossing MMOs are free to play. So you can see the highest grossing MMOs in the world right now. The first few on the list shouldn't be too surprising. Keep in mind though, this data is gathered from January up until April, so it does not include the Legion launch. But it shows that League of Legends is still dominating this list. But what's surprising to me is Blade and Soul bringing up the rear with 82 million bucks. It's the 10th most popular MMO in the world with 82 million. So good job Blade and Soul, keep at it. But I'm sure this data will change by the year's end, and it does show the contest between free to play and pay to play, but it shows you that free to play is just massive and continues to keep growing. Next up, we have a bit of news from Snail Games regarding Dark and Light. We talked about this game when it was first revealed at China Joy, and it looks like Snail Games is quickly pushing to release the game. An early access version of the game is set to launch on Steam this fall. It's a fantasy sandbox game, which is a remake of the original 2004 MMO with the same name, Dark and Light. And despite being slated to hit early access on Steam this fall, there's really no other gameplay video than the one we're seeing right now, which shows off basically no gameplay. But we'll learn more when it hits early access. Keep in mind, it will cost money. It will not be free to play. That we know. Probably buy to play. Up next, some positive news for Peria Chronicles. Yes, the game we thought was left for dead is apparently not, and is still being developed. The developer ThinkSoft actually released information saying that the game is still in development. They actually decided to redevelop the entire project, and they scrapped what they had before. Here's to hoping it still maintains their ambitious vision in the past, where it's a full sandbox game where players can actually create a lot of the game themselves. But a quick recap, the game was missing from Nexon's Q2 2016 investor presentation and the Q1 investor presentation, so players thought that the game was dead for sure, but we know now that it's not, and it's still being developed, which is great because this video looks gorgeous. I love the art style in this game. Unfortunately, with all that going on, don't expect a release anytime soon. Next up, Ubisoft is celebrating their 30th anniversary by giving away free copies of The Crew, which for those that don't know is an MMO racing game. Normally it's buy to play and costs 30 bucks on Steam, but however, starting on September 14th, 2016, as a part of their promotion, anyone can get the game for free. Anytime between September 14th and about 1 month later, you can get the game for free, and once you go and redeem it, it'll be yours likely forever. So, good deal. I'll probably do a first look on it now that I'll be able to get it for free. Nice. Moving right along, we have a new MOBA this week called Heroes Evolved from R2 Games. It's totally a League clone. I hate saying that, but it is definitely a League of Legends clone with some Dota 2 elements. In fact, it copies items directly from both games. One item, for instance, is called the Jade Monarch, and it's the same exact item as Butterfly from Dota 2, like almost the same exact stats. But it's very much a knockoff of popular MOBAs. However, it is free to play if you want to check it out. I did a video for it already, and it's functional, but there's almost no reason to play it over League or Dota. And yes, it shamelessly looks like League. Move right along, we have a game, Tanki X, which is entering open beta on September 15th. It's a spiritual successor to Tanki Online. Now, I've never actually heard of Tanki Online, but it sounds like a really cute tank. Oh, come on, Tanki. Here you go, Tanki. But yeah, the game is coming out on September 15th. As you can see, it's a tank battler. Again, open beta, September 15th. Up next, we have another game entering open beta. This time, it's Crush Online, which actually entered open beta on September 9th. Even though the trailer in the background, it kind of looks like a MOBA. However, it does blend MMO and MOBA elements because there is a persistent universe in the game. So it's some persistent elements with a MOBA. Expect the first look relatively soon. Moving right along, we have yet another new game to discuss this week. It's Heroes Song, which is launching into early access on November 7th. It had a failed Kickstarter earlier this year and is backed by John Smedley, the former president of Daybreak Games, and he actually ran the ship back when it was called Sony Online Entertainment. And besides the early access announcement, the game also launched an Indiegogo campaign to raise some more money from crowdfunding. Keep in mind, it will be buy to play, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. These retro graphics actually appeal to me a lot because I enjoyed this art style of games. I've grown up with these style of games, so I'll give Heroes Song a try when it comes out. Moving right along, an update for Armored Warfare. The game is set to receive Global Operations Mode, which will be a 15 vs 15 PvPvE mode that allows respawning and features ever-changing primary objectives, which will ultimately result in a more action-packed game mode. The first map in this game mode is going to be called Desert Crossing, and it'll be a larger map too, so it'll create some more fun. More information about the mode is set to be revealed later this month, with the release date still up in the air. Up next, Line of Sight is officially live on Steam Early Access for $9.99. If you guys remember, it used to be called Combat Arms Line of Sight. However, after, I guess, a development disagreement, the guys that made Line of Sight separated from Nexon, and now the game is just called Line of Sight without the Combat Arms tag. It finally launched on Steam. It costs $10. It's the Early Access version, and it's a possibility that after Early Access is over, the game will be free to play. But right now, it's undecided. So if you want to play the game, spend $10 on Early Access. If you want to wait till it's potentially free to play, you might have to wait a couple months. Graphically speaking, the game looks quite gorgeous, and expect a first look for this one relatively soon. Next up, some news from COG Games. They released their third job path update for Elsword's dual character, Lou and Seal. As with most of COG Games' updates, they're hosting an event to celebrate this Lucille's third job path. And as always, COG Games always releases awesome trailers for their updates, so check it out in the background. But yeah, this is already out, so if you're playing Elsword, check out Lucille. Up next, Revelation Online releases a new PvE trailer showing off some new PvE dungeons and some of the PvE gameplay overall. Keep in mind, it's set to launch into closed beta sometime next month in October, and the video shows off various raids in the game, some dungeons, and some other goodies. Notably, there are 10-player raids, up to 20-player raids for the game's toughest bosses. Revelations Online also features 6 world bosses as well as solo dungeons. Graphically speaking, the game looks gorgeous, and I'm looking forward to a first look video for it right now. I was not too hype earlier, but seeing these trailers get me a little bit more hype, but we'll see how it is. Moving right along, Star Trek Online is officially live on consoles. It took 4 months after the original announcement, but Star Trek Online is officially live on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. All of the game's content updates from the past 6 years are included right from the get-go. This is Arc Games' / Perfect World's second game to launch on consoles after Neverwinter. Neverwinter itself did quite well, but we'll see how Star Trek Online does. Keep in mind, the console and PC versions are separate from each other and exist on separate servers. Moving right along, some unfortunate news for Asta Online. Webzen announced that the game is being shut down on October 4th. The cache has already been closed in preparation for the shutdown, and in order to celebrate the last few weeks the game still has, the XP rates and drop rates have all been increased for the remainder of the time. Now, having played the game myself, it's not too surprising to see the game shut down. It just didn't have too much going for it. I know there was a few loyal fans out there for the game, so I don't want to offend anyone. But the game did shut down in South Korea pretty early on before it even launched in North America. So the South Korean developer already shut down. It didn't really look great for the game in America. But rest in peace, Asta Online. The game is shutting down on the 4th of October. And in a double whammy of bad news for Webzen, they're also shutting down ELOA, Elite Lord of Alliance, also sometime in October. The triple fun action MMORPG was not fun enough, I guess. The game had a weird saga. It originally launched in order to combat a private server called Elsword Online, and they launched ELOA, which is the official version of the game, and ELOA just did not last. Didn't have a large enough player base to survive. So rest in peace, ELOA. And on some more positive news, World of Fishing goes live on Steam. So with every game that shuts down, we have new games that replace them. World of Fishing, though, is not new. It's been around for a little bit, and it actually just recently launched on Steam, though, with a major update that increased the game's level cap to 80. Yes, so you got a higher level in the fishing MMO now. I expect the first look for this one relatively soon. I have not checked this one out yet, and I plan to. Speaking of new games, we have another one this week called Ultimate Weapon. It's only available in China right now, and it's through Perfect World. It's a 3v3 or 8v8 team brawler with 29 characters to choose from. I guess one way to look at it is like an advanced form of Rakion or any of those old team brawlers out there. Graphically, it looks pretty good, but it's only out in China right now, so there's no word on international release. However, it is Perfect World, and they have been pretty quick to embrace Western markets, so it might come out over here too. The next and last bit of news this week comes from ArenaNet regarding Guild Wars 2. Episode 2 of the 3rd season of Guild Wars 2's Living World will be launching on September 20th and will continue with the game's story. Also included is a new 5v5 conquest-style PvP map called the Eternal Coliseum, as well as a bunch of other goodies. But yeah, that's it for MMO news this week. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the podcast. Later, guys.